By now, you've almost certainly heard the news that a brand new Digimon story game has been formally revealed with a 2025 release date. And there was no way I was not going to talk about this reveal. I've not seen Digimon fans this fired up in a long time, and I've been talking about Digimon on YouTube since 2020. If this is your first time finding this channel, welcome. We review and analyze nostalgic anime from the early 2000s like Digimon, Beyblade, Metabots. Subscribe if you like the idea of a channel talking digital monster stories. So, the topic of this video, introducing Digimon Story Time Stranger, the next entry in the Digimon story games that include popular titles like Dawn and Dusk from the DS era, plus CyberSleuth and Hacker's Memory on 8th gen consoles. With CyberSleuth originally releasing all the way back in 2015 and Hacker's Memory being more like a CyberSleuth spin-off than a sequel, really it's been 10 years since the last truly new Digimon story game. Fans had a few other Digimon games in sub-series like Digimon World, Next Order, which was an attempt to carry on the legacy of the PS1 and PS2 era Digimon World games, and there was also Digimon Survive from 2022, a sort of visual novel meets tactics hybrid that I was a huge fan of, but that I can acknowledge wasn't everyone's cup of tea. Time Stranger appears to be the thing that a lot of people want. Before we go any further, I want to shout out Carne for two big reasons. First, he seems to have predicted major elements of the new game over a year ago, so kudos to him. And second, he put out a 20-something minute video breaking down everything we know about Time Stranger so far. I think it's the best breakdown of the new game that currently exists on YouTube. My video today is really going to be me sharing what excites me from a narrative perspective, some theories, and my hopes for the new Digimon story, but in terms of a breakdown, Karn's new video is a must-watch. I'll link to that in the description. The things I loved about Digimon Story, CyberSleuth, and Hacker's Memory, besides the JRPG combat that felt very Persona, very SMT, very Tokyo Mirage Sessions, was the story, something baked right into the name. I think these Digimon story games have been able to deliver something adult Digimon fans are always asking for. Fans who grew up on Digimon are looking for complex, mature stories. New anime like Digimon Adventure 2020 and Ghost Game are fun for all ages and often gorgeous to look at, but given they are also made for a kid audience in Japan, they can't explore incredibly complex story topics. Of course, films like Last Evolution Kizuna and Zero to the Beginning exist, but they're both under 2 hours and each come with decades of story baggage, whereas something like Digimon Story Time Stranger can provide a brand new story scenario with its own world, its own rules, and can potentially immerse you in a new Digimon adventure for anywhere from 30 to 80 hours based on the length of CyberSleuth. In the trailer, we hear, quote, "An apocalypse looms over parallel worlds. As their fates begin to intertwine, the battle to alter destiny begins." Time Stranger is doing something incredibly exciting by focusing on an alternate digital world that we've never really seen before, a digital world known as Iliad. It exists on a different server. Most Digimon stories we're familiar with have taken place in the Yggdrasil server, if they've cared to acknowledge multiple digital worlds at all. Digital world Iliad appears to be inspired by Greek mythology. This reminds me of two series I love. First, the 2018 God of War, which saw Kratos leave the world of Greek gods and myth and land in a world of Norse mythology. The idea of different cultural mythos being alternate planes of existence with their own gods, monsters, cultures, weapons, and more was so intriguing to me back in 2018, and this digital spin on the concept is incredibly fascinating. The second series this reminds me of is Reboot, the first fully CG TV series from the 90s. The first 2 seasons of Reboot took place inside Mainframe, a city inside a single computer occupied by digital life forms that were our series' heroes and villains, but in the second and third seasons, the World Wide Web played a much larger role. It became known that multiple worlds existed inside separate computers, and they were all connected by the World Wide Web. And after prominent characters were kicked from the Mainframe server, we follow them on a journey across the web, this digital multiverse, to get back home. In the Time Stranger trailer, we hear, quote, "An apocalypse looms over parallel worlds." It sounds like there is a threat to multiple worlds that may have originated from digital world Iliad. We know that the Olympus 12, who are sort of the Iliad equivalent of the Royal Knights from the digital world Yggdrasil, are going to play a prominent role in the story. It looks like Titamon can be seen in the trailer, and this is a Digimon with ties to Olympus 12, one that is born from the hatred of the Digimon defeated by the Olympus 12 in past battles. So it is this personified, singular collection of all the digital monsters that the Olympus 12 have destroyed, and perhaps it's this growing hulk of negative energy that's going to become a world destroyer traveling across different servers. There's also Agiomon, who is looking to play a major role in Time Stranger, possibly even being the titular Time Stranger. Again, Carnex made this prediction over a year ago, and I think he nailed it. Agiomon is a champion-level Digimon and an early form of Jupitermon, one of the Olympus 12. This Agiomon may be some kind of amnesiac, forgetting about its life as Jupitermon and arriving in the human world at the start of the game. Agiomon could be our guide into this new Greek-inspired digital world Iliad, and along Along the way, perhaps Aegiomon rediscovers his past and his role as Jupitermon in the Olympus 12. In that way, it could be a lot like Midna in The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, a knowledgeable resident of the Twilight Realm who guides Link through the unknown, who is ultimately more important to the world than we originally thought. Also, while it's clear that we will collect, raise, and evolve many Digimon throughout the game, we even see what looks like our starter options in the key art, but with Aegiomon as our potential guide and companion, one could argue that Aegiomon might be the Digimon partner of the game. Like, yes, we'll have more Digimon to command and collect, but for the narrative, it'll be Aegiomon and us serving as the central bond, the Tai and Agumon, the hero and Gamamon. Cybersleuth and Hacker's Memory showed other characters with prominent bonds to Digimon, like Nokia and Omnimon, or Erica and Wormmon, but the player character didn't really have their one Digimon, as they instead collected hundreds of Digimon. Here it could be we get the best of both worlds. We get the monster taming collectathon mechanics we want, but we also get the one-on-one bond of a human and digital monster that is core to great Digimon stories. Aegiomon is relatively humanoid looking, minus the goat legs and pointy ears. I think this is in reference to the gods of Greek mythology having the tendency to disguise themselves as humans, as animals, and to integrate into the mortal world, the human world. I think an element of this game may be that the other members of the Olympus 12 are also taking on human forms. Perhaps they are hiding in our world, on the run from a Titamon that has become too powerful, or perhaps they've also lost their memories like Aegiomon, and a core part of the game is finding the Olympus 12 members scattered across different worlds and times, and maybe restoring them to their former selves to come together to defeat the enemy, whether that enemy is Titamon, Apoclymon, the Royal Knights, or a new threat. As for us, the playable character, are we followers of Aegiomon, worshippers of the Olympus 12? The male and female characters look a little bit devilish, a little bit nasty in the key art. It's another great sign that this will be a more mature story, as we're not simple good boys or good girls, but what's their deal? They wear scarves that almost look matching with Aegiomon, but the rest of their outfit is very train conductor. One of the first shots of the trailer is a train seemingly traveling through digital world Iliad and possibly to a Mount Olympus type location. So does the player work in the digital world Iliad? I presume they are human, but if they are, do they come from our version of Earth, our 21st century, or are the protagonists from a far future or ancient past? We also see this gun type device in the trailer. I don't think it's a Power World situation. I'm not expecting us to go around shooting Digimon. My guess is that this gun is some kind of reveal device, like the weird doxing beam the Justices had in Bell. Maybe if the Olympus 12 are in fact in disguise as humans, part of revealing their true forms will be hitting them with this true self blaster. This was a less than 2-minute trailer, but as you can tell, it's loaded with possibility. Again, the intent of this video was to speculate and theorize on story elements based on things from the trailer that jumped out at me. For a deep dive into what we know, Carne has a great video you should check out, but I want to hear from you. What do you think about Digimon story Time Stranger? From the reveal trailer, from what you've read online afterwards on Steam or the PlayStation blog, let's talk about it below in the comments. I'm super curious to hear everyone's thoughts. Speaking of games in the digital monster category, as my channel viewers will know, I released my own monster taming story in December called Dot Monster Revolution. It's on Amazon as an ebook and paperback. I'd love for you to read it. Links are in the description. But that's actually not the big news today. A few weeks back, I got a message from Panly37, the creator of CybrFate, a fully digital tabletop TCG inspired by series like Digimon and D&D. Panly had read my book and was a fan of the characters, and since we were both working on original worlds inspired by monster franchises from the late 90s and early 2000s, we decided it would be fun to do a little Dotmon cross CybrFate collaboration. So in CybrFate, like within the digital TCG, along with all of the existing original characters that are part of the universe, you will now find 6 Dot Monster cards featuring new art for 3 of the humans and 3 of the Dotmon from my book. It was extremely cool seeing my characters in the Panly art style of CybrFate, and I definitely recommend checking out the game on Steam's tabletop simulator. If you do, hopefully you can use my Dotmon characters towards a winning strategy. I'll have links in the description for how to check out CybrFate TCG. I thought this video was going to be like 4 minutes when I started scripting it, but I couldn't stop yapping about Digimon story Time Stranger, and here we are. Thanks for watching. The next video from me will be my G Revolution finale review, so look forward to that and subscribe if you're a fan of this. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.